Welcome to One Bite is Everything, the podcast that connects every bite you take to the bigger world. Health, community, environment, and economy. I'm your host, Dana DePrima. This week, in honor of Earth Day, I want to talk about something that often gets lost in the broader environmental conversation. If we were playing Family Feud and the question was, what do farmers do? The top answer would be obvious. They produce food. But that answer is incomplete. Farmers don't just produce food, they manage ecosystems. They steward soil. They protect water resources. They respond to weather patterns. They maintain landscapes. They make daily decisions that affect biodiversity, nutrient cycles, carbon storage, and land productivity. And yet, when we talk about environmental impact, agriculture often gets mentioned in a negative way. We hear statistics about greenhouse gas emissions, about fertilizer runoff, about monocropping, about CAFOs, confined animal feeding operations, about soil erosion, about water depletion. And those concerns are real. But what often gets lost is that agriculture is not one monolithic thing. The environmental impact of farming depends heavily on how farming is done. Some systems degrade soil, others actively rebuild it. Some systems depend heavily on synthetic inputs, others rely on biological processes that strengthen the resilience of the land. Some systems simplify ecosystems, others diversify them. When all agriculture is grouped together, we lose the ability to see the farmers who are actively working to improve the land. And that matters because small and mid-sized farms play an important and often overlooked role in environmental stewardship. Through the For Farmers movement, we've now funded 292 farm projects across 48 states and Puerto Rico. These grants support practical improvements that help farmers keep their operations viable and continue producing food for their communities. When I step back for a moment and look across these projects through an environmental lens, a really interesting pattern has emerged that feels particularly relevant for Earth Day. Most of these farmers did not apply for funding because they set out to do climate work. They applied because they were trying to farm responsibly. And yet many of the projects they prioritized directly strengthen environmental resilience. Let's talk about agriculture's reputation problem for a minute. When people hear that agriculture contributes to environmental challenges, it can create a general impression that farming itself is harmful to the planet. We often hear that agriculture contributes roughly 10% of U.S. greenhouse gas emissions. We hear about nitrogen runoff contributing to water quality issues. We hear about soil erosion, biodiversity loss, and the environmental risks associated with highly concentrated livestock production. These are real concerns, and they deserve attention and scrutiny. But agriculture is not that single uniform activity. Farming systems vary widely in their impact depending on how they are structured, what incentives they operate under, and how the land is managed. Industrial agriculture was designed to maximize yield, efficiency, and uniformity at scale. Those goals helped increase food production dramatically over the past century, but they also introduced some serious trade-offs. Monocropping simplifies planting and harvesting but reduces biodiversity. Synthetic fertilizers provide predictable nutrient delivery but can alter soil biology over time. Large-scale centralized systems create efficiencies but can increase vulnerability when disruptions occur. These outcomes are often the result of structural incentives rather than individual intent. Farms operate within systems that shape what is possible, affordable, and practical. At the same time, many small and mid-sized farms operate differently. Their decisions are often closely tied to the long-term health of the land that they manage. Because their scale is smaller, the condition of their soil, pasture, and water systems has a direct impact on their ability to continue farming year after year. For these farmers, stewardship is not a separate environmental initiative. It's part of maintaining a viable farm. Looking across the 292 farm projects that the For Farmers movement has funded, a clear pattern emerges. 134 of those farms are investing directly in soil health. These farmers are composting, cover cropping, reducing tillage, using organic approaches that help rebuild the microbial life beneath the surface of the soil. Healthy soil does more than grow crops. It improves the land's ability to retain water, resist erosion, and remain productive over time. 80 farms are strengthening their pastures through rotational grazing. Rotational grazing involves moving animals regularly so grasslands have time to rest and recover. This allows root systems to grow deeper, improves soil structure, and increases biodiversity. And this helps pastures absorb and retain water more effectively. 54 farms have invested in season extension infrastructure, such as high tunnels, hoop houses, or greenhouses. These tools protect crops from increasingly unpredictable weather and extend local growing seasons into months when very little would otherwise be produced nearby. 31 farms improve their water systems directly, installing drip irrigation, upgrading wells, or adapting their growing practices to changing rainfall patterns and drier summers. And 11 farms used their grants to recover from Hurricane Helene, rebuilding fences, replacing damaged greenhouses, and testing flood-contaminated soil so they could continue feeding their communities after the storm passed through western North Carolina. This kind of recovery from climate disasters really takes time. In total, more than 2/3 of the farms that the For Farmers movement has funded are investing in practices that strengthen the land itself. These farmers are not farming in spite of the environment. They're farming for it. It's also worth noting that 9 of the farms we've funded are flower farms exclusively. Flowers may not be food, but they tell a similar environmental story. Most flowers sold in the United States are imported, traveling long distances from the Netherlands or Colombia. They travel in refrigerated transport and often are grown with very heavy pesticide use. The flower farmers we've supported are producing locally, reducing transportation emissions, and growing with significantly less or zero chemical inputs. It's a reminder that the environmental role farmers play extends beyond what's on our plate. It shows up in the landscapes they care for every day. Most of these farmers are not describing their efforts as climate initiatives. They're describing them simply as necessary improvements that allow them to care for their land responsibly and to continue producing food. Let's talk about why stewardship like this emerges naturally. On smaller farms, the condition of the soil is not an abstract concept. It directly affects productivity, cost structure, and resilience. Healthy soil holds water more effectively, reducing irrigation needs. Biologically active soil improves nutrient cycling, reducing dependence on synthetic inputs. Diverse crop rotations can reduce pest pressure. Rotational grazing improves pasture productivity. These practices are not just environmentally beneficial, they also make farms more stable over time. Many farmers think in generational timeframes. They are managing land that they hope will remain productive for decades. That perspective often leads to decisions that prioritize long-term viability over short-term yield maximization. environmental stewardship becomes integrated into daily management decisions, not as a marketing concept, not as a political position, as a part of running a farm that can continue operating. Farmers are really good climate observers. They are among the first to notice subtle environmental shifts, changes in frost timing, differences in rainfall patterns, increased pest pressure, longer dry periods, more intense storm events, variability in growing seasons. These changes show up in planting schedules, harvest timing, forage quality, and crop yields. Farmers adapt continuously. They adjust their crop varieties, they experiment with soil practices, they invest in infrastructure that allows them to respond to changing conditions. Climate change is often discussed in global models and long-term projections. Farmers experience it as day-to-day variability that affects how they manage their land. They are not encountering environmental change as an abstract concept. They are responding to it in real time. Let's talk about why this matters. When all agriculture is grouped together as environmentally harmful, it becomes harder to recognize the farmers who are actively improving the land. That misunderstanding can discourage support for farms that are investing in soil health, biodiversity, and water stewardship. Not all farming practices produce the same environmental outcomes. Some farming systems deplete natural resources and others actively strengthen them. Understanding these differences allows consumers to make more informed choices about the food they purchase and the farms they support. Food is not just food. It reflects the condition of the land it comes from. Let's take a moment to think about Earth Day. Earth Day often focuses on energy, transportation, plastics, and emissions. Food systems deserve to be a part of that conversation. Every meal represents a set of environmental decisions made somewhere along the line. Soil was managed in a particular way, water was used in a particular way, land was stewarded in a particular way. Farmers are not only producing food, they are caring for the resources that make food possible. The farmers we support are investing in practices that improve soil health, protect water resources, support biodiversity, and strengthen the resilience of local food systems. Their work extends beyond their farm boundaries. It affects landscapes, watersheds, and communities. When we support small farmers, we're supporting the health of the land itself. And that is worth recognizing on Earth Day and pretty much every other day. Thanks for listening to One Bite is Everything, the podcast that connects every bite you take to the bigger world. If today's episode sparked something for you, remember, the stories you hear here don't end when the episode does. Through the For Farmers movement, these stories become action, supporting small farmers and bringing eaters like you closer to the people who make your food possible. You can learn more at forfarmersmovement.com, and you can also follow along for more facts and red flags on Instagram at XOXOFarmGirl. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to rate and review One Bite is Everything on Apple Podcasts. It helps more people like you find the show. One Bite is Everything is in the top 3% globally of all podcasts, with more engagement than 88% of podcasts on Spotify. With over 150 episodes, we're committed to bringing you the stories that matter. The sound design and original music for this episode is provided by the talented Russell Chapa. I am your host, Dana DePrima, and I will see you here again next week for another episode of One Bite is Everything. Until then, eat like it matters, because it does.